Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je vous remercie pour l'occasion de nous présenter ce que l'on a obtenu en observant les impacts UNITA dans la première phase. Ma présentation sera en anglais. So this is our agenda for today. So we are going to give an outlook on what we have done in terms of ongoing pilot research that is use UNITA as a test bed. So as a preliminary consideration, part of our data that we're going to discuss today are retrieved within the UNITA boundaries, but then we have extended that also to the entire UNITA Alliance when was proper in terms of data collection, so we had access to data. So we are going to address a little bit about the theoretical background we have used in terms to have a scientifically sound study. And then we will show you our methodology, so the type of process that we have followed in terms of measure the impact of our university alliance that could be also scalable in the future. And I will give you some highlights about what we have achieved as a result in terms of impact and in terms of rural mobility and stakeholder analysis. And then I will give you an overview of what we're going to do in the future in terms of UNITA Phase 2 and the coordination that we're going to have with the task 5.4. In terms of develop our study, so we start collecting data, we said, around September to October 2022, where we had to select a specific methodology. This methodology has a theory of change, also known as impact pathway or impact value chain, that is required by all European projects, as we already know, and has been good in terms of be adaptable to different contexts and scenarios as the ones of our different universities. So what we have done after having selected the type of literature we want to use a theory of change, the logic model, then we have work on retrieve the already available data that you have in the project proposal and in the midterm report that has been sent to the European Commission in order to elaborate a bunch of indicators, what we call key performance indicator, using a slang that is quite familiar to those studying business and management. And according to that, then we have started reviewing the indicator in a sort of multi-stakeholder way, so engaging all the people working within UNITA task force for each WUPI or package in order to see if what we have done was right or not and make some adjustments. Then we had used the following month to have this data collection and elaboration, and we are going to present our report in January 2024, so the first social impact report. Just to say that what we have done could be adapted to the following and the evolution of our alliance, and could be used as a test bed, as I said, for the impact of UNITA second phase. In terms of theoretical background, if someone is not familiar with this model, we mean that we want to achieve some long-term impact with our project and within our alliance, but also we can say on the societal at large. So specifically in terms of reverse engineering, what we do is to select what are the long-term impacts that we want to achieve. That means also after the completion of the project. And then in a reverse feedback, we try to elaborate midterm results in terms of outcome. And what we call as output are the direct and tangible results of the project itself. So this is the logical framework that we want to adopt. Usually this activity has been done during the ex-ante phase, so in the design phase of a project, but we have done that in a retrospective way, so adapting the work packages of UNITA in order to demonstrate the impact working on background. So what we have done has been, as I said, starting from the work package task and the deliverables of the project, elaborating the output indicators, outcome, and impact. We have validated each indicator with the help of the task force members, and then we have also changed some indicators, changed the phenomena that we want to analyze, and make the modification. So in that way, it's a really open process, not just a top-down approach, but is bottom-up approach as well. And so we have collected feedback, and it's what we are also doing now. This is an example of what we have done for a specific work package. So we started with objective and the task, and then we have elaborated output, outcome, and impact. We know that inside the UNITA 1, so the first phase of UNITA, a lot of tasks have some highlights, some connection, interconnection with other WUPs and also within the same work package. So for that sense, we don't have all impacts per each task, but there could be multiple connections within the same work package. This is just an example. In terms of selecting the area of impact, what we have done has been to group work package per type of impact. So the first typology of impact has been the meta-organizational transformative impact. Meta-organization means that all our universities start working together as a super organization. So like we had a new one. So the network is a new organization. So we have established new organizational structures, new processes, new procedure. That's why we had the first group of impact. That the second one, of course, is the impact on student, staff, education, and mobility. Then we have the civil society impacts, so the impacts on rural and mountain areas, the intercomprehension project that we had. And at the end, we have also economic and financial impacts that are also connected to the work packages of the previous project. These are just some preliminary results in terms of mobility and research. As you can see, we are like accounting is a strange type, different type of accounting. So we are going to account for this type of indicator that could be, that has a meaning, a strong meaning for our alliance, like in the number of mobilities inside UNITA 2008, or the impressive number of the European student card delivered to 88% of the students involved within the UNITA network, or in terms of research, we had 635 participating organizations within the UNITA research activities and calls. Or, for instance, in terms of community, more than 500 active users of UNITA open source management tools are accounts for the 4% of all staff of all the universities. Or in terms of dissemination, it's impressive to say that 61,000 website visualization has been accounting since now. These are just an example of what we want to have in our report and want to deliver to you in January. This is again another example of a preliminary result related to the implementing UNITA management work package. For instance, 6 UNITA offices in total have been established across all partner institutions, accounting for 34 full-time administrative job positions. So in the future, we will be also able to convert all these data in financial impact and also in full-time equivalent impact. That could be good to see the dimension of impact of our alliance within all our universities. The last column is just on UNITA because it was like easy for us to start accounting within our institution. This is another example of the UNITA rural mobility. As you can see, just to, in terms of time, I don't want to bother you so much, but the graph you can see on the right is still growing. It represents the outgoing blend intensive program applications that we are accounting. So an increase year by year in that number, that's a very impressive result. In terms of rural mobility, here you can see per region of impact where the number of rural mobility opportunities have been delivered. And so you can see that there's like a connection. That could be an opportunity to create a connection within our university and our territories to create values in those areas where universities are not always so present. So in where we are extending our impact in a geographical way that could be absolutely important. Regarding stakeholder analysis, so we started with 6 founder university, and then we have 44 institutional associated partners and 84 local partners in rural and mountain regions. But then if you look at the research and innovation hubs, that now stakeholder numbers is increased to 183. So that's absolutely great. Here, what we have done has been a preliminary clusterization of our stakeholders per type. So 23 representative the socioeconomic rural mountain areas, 29 third sector organizations, 21 local authorities, 21 SMEs, and 6 international cultural organizations. So you can see that we could have a closer look to the type of stakeholders that we have involved, also to analyze in a temporal perspective how the stakeholder ecosystems of UNITA will grow and to be compared to understand what we can do better and where we can work. In terms of preliminary results, then we have done work depicting a very rudimental social network analysis that could be useful. This is, of course, a research project. So this for us has been a way to use Gephi to visualize the extension of our stakeholder network and understand which are the hubs and which are the nodes and the edges that are more important or more strategic, but not only in terms of performance, so we want to see which university is performing best to another, but how we can collaborate and work together to emphasize what we have already done and what we can do in the future. This is also important to stress the social and relational capital that our university has as potential to grow and to drive the economic condition of our regions. It has been a challenging project, as you can imagine. Some indicators have been easily retrieved, some other we can face some difficulties, but of course this is the implication of a research project that is active. So this work together with the institution that we are monitoring. And in terms of monitoring framework, we also have proposed these according, so accounting for the similarities that we have also with the European PPMI framework that has been delivered ongoing to our alliance. So we will be one of the first alliances to do this type of study, especially because theory of change needs to be implemented within the case, so customized with the need of the case that we are analyzing. So the pool of indicators is quantitative and qualitative and mixed. What we are going to do in the future, as we said, we're going to deliver the impact report in between December and January once the final data will be available. And for the future, we want to create a synergic approach with the task of 5.4, especially to use and to put at the service of the task the knowledge that we have retrieved since now in order to emphasize the international collaboration and to have different examples. Of course, within the task 5.4, there are also the development of the UNITA and the UNITA data warehouse, so we can work together, especially to measure the impact with two different outlooks. One is the external and the other one would be the internal. In the external impact would be the impact of our universities in terms of scientific publication that is going to be ranked through the use of the Times impact rankings that is accounting for the publication linked to the SDGs. And so all of our university will be involved in accounting for the number of publications. While in terms of internal impact self-evaluation, of course, we want to deliver to all the Alliance members what we have done and what we have understood since now with our methodology, with our case, and of course to join together the internal observatory and the UNITA, as I said before. So that's all for my presentation, and thank you.